Hello, this is Dr. David with Synergy Wellness in New York City. We have a young lady here with biceps tendonitis, and we're going to go ahead and start lasering her biceps tendon. She's only had 3 treatments so far, so she hasn't really tested her shoulder enough to really see if she's doing well just yet. Typically 4 to 10 treatments and you can start to see a really big difference in that rotator cuff or in the biceps tendon in this situation. So a lot of people do develop tendonitis in the rotator cuff muscles. That's why I mentioned the rotator cuff. But for her, it's the biceps tendon. And we know this based on an MRI she brought in. And this laser is amazing. What it does is it can find areas of inflammation underneath, and I'm able to just target those inflamed areas. So I start away from the injury and palm up for me. So that beep you heard there was a false alarm because I took the sensor right off of her skin by accident. And then we're just gonna run it along that biceps tendon, both on the outside, and there we go. So it found an area of inflammation. This uses an impedance meter and it's uncanny. I mean, it finds those spots right away. So we're gonna scan over her biceps tendon, turn the hand out like that, good. So that tells me it's done dosing that area, and then we're gonna run it up that bicep tendon again, in the belly of the bicep right here. Now, a lot of times people with shoulder pain have tendonitis, and there's usually more going on in that shoulder. With her, because she has arthritis in the labrum, I'm limited in what I can do as far as adjusting her. So I can adjust her shoulder joint to an extent, but if I start getting into that labral joint and there's an arthritic spur in the wrong spot and I adjust, it could really flare things up in a way that she's gonna wanna find my house, hunt me down, and burn it down. So we're not doing that. We're not going to flare things up, obviously, but we haven't started adjusting her shoulder yet. First, what I want to do is get the inflammation and pain down, and then in a week or 2, we're going to start adjusting her shoulder. So again, this laser here is working on her biceps tendonitis. So what is biceps tendonitis? Anybody know? I don't hear you. Oh. Okay, nobody has the answer? I know you guys have the answer. It's just inflammation. Itis is inflammation. It's inflammation of the biceps tendon. That's all it is. Now, how does it get inflamed? Well, usually overuse injury, or if the joint is out of place and then other adjacent muscles have to work harder to lift something or get the job done. So it's called compensation. So sometimes our joints or muscles compensate for dysfunction or misalignment, and that's another reason it can happen. Do you work with your arms a lot?
No, I don't.
You don't? And how long have you had the arm pain for?
About 1 year.
So during COVID, sometimes she developed this issue. But I'll tell you this, the shoulder, she also has some arthritis in her shoulder in the labrum, and that, that's not something that just developed in the last year. That's something that takes years and years to develop. So it definitely has found some inflammation down here in the lower part of the biceps tendon. We're gonna scan the top part again, and we're gonna bring your arm out a little bit more here, and you can rest it on my knee. And that beep just lets me know this is an area that we need to address. And then you'll hear it beep again in a few seconds. And that tells me that it's done dosing that particular area. So not only does it tell me where the inflammation and soft tissue damage is, but it also tells me how long to treat it. And then I usually scan over the muscle a couple of times just to make sure we got everything. It's pretty simple. Using a laser, knowing how to use your laser is much more complicated. So a lot of people are thinking, oh my God, I have tendonitis all over my body and muscle pain all over my body. I need to buy one of these lasers. Be careful, because not all lasers are created equally. Some aren't even lasers. Some are LEDs. So you got to be really careful about what you're buying. LEDs are really only good for the surface of the skin, for skin issues like eczema, psoriasis, acne, things like that. It's not going to be helpful for a tendonitis issue. So just make sure you know what you're buying before you buy it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you get rid of your tendonitis soon. Thank you guys so much. If you got anything from this video, or even if you just like this view of the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building, give me a like and don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate you guys.